Namaskar. Welcome to another episode of Editorial. All my life I was very interested in studying human behavior. It fascinated me. And an advertising person, it was very important for me to understand human behavior because that is what consumer behavior is. You see, the question is, does a person change? Does a character of a person change if he is put into a particular situation or particular position? Which means that a corrupt person, an absolute corrupt person who is a gunda, if he is made a minister, after he occupies the minister's chair, does he change? That's the question we'll ask tonight. Let's get right into the show and talk about this. Okay, so Chief Justice D.Y. Chandrachud in a lecture was once asked that this happened last week. He was asked as to why did the Collegium select judge called Justice Gowri Victoria in Madras High Court. Why did the Collegium select her? Because there's a problem. Gowri Victoria had clear prejudice against Christians, against minorities, clearly, and she has spoken about it. Now, what she said, let me first take you through what she said, then let us understand what Justice Chandrachud said, and then let us form an opinion. You see, this is, all these statements were made between 2012, 13 and 18 when Gowri Victoria was an advocate and also an active member of Bharatiya Janata Party. So this was her view as an active member of Bharatiya Janata Party and as an advocate. Now hear this out. She says, as far as India is concerned, I would like to say Christian groups are more dangerous than Islamic groups. Both are equally dangerous in context of conversion, especially love jihad. This is what she said. Mind you, the Home Ministry of India has said that there is nothing called as love jihad. But an advocate then and a Bharatiya Janata Party member, Gowri Victoria, made this statement. Further on, in another statement, she said that the problem of Christian is if the Islamic terror is green terror, then Christian terror is a white terror. This is what she said. In another statement she made, she said Bharatnatyam should not be danced for Christian songs. How could the posture of Lord Nataraja be equated to the name of Jesus Christ? This is what she had to say. She went on to say in another statement that the slow, steady and consistent invasion of our values and morals in this country by the continuous rule of pseudo-secularists in the name of secularism, in the name of globalization, in the name of global marketing has made the constitutional promise of equality a farce. This is what she spoke about secularism. She, in another statement, went on to say that the list of Christian aggression is not ending. Where there is a temple, there must be many churches, is their aggressive motto. This is what, according to a report, advocate and an active member of Bharatiya Janata Party, Victoria Gowri, said in 2012, 2013, 2014 and to 2018. Now, this particular lady who said this about Christianity, who said this about Islam, and who feels that, all secularists are pseudo-secularists, this lady is now going to be or proposed to be a judge in the Madras High Court. Which means this lady is going to judge people. This lady can now decide who will die, who will live, who will go behind prisons, who is guilty, who is not guilty. She can decide that. She can decide who is right, who is wrong. She can decide what is legal, what is not. She can decide who should be punished, who should be not. She can decide that. And Mr. Chandrachud says that, listen, you know what? Nothing that a person should not be disabled from being appointed to a high judicial office by views she expressed as a member of a political party or the client she appeared for as a lawyer. Justice Chandrachud says, listen, you know what? Whatever she said when she was part of a political party or what she said as an advocate should not be viewed when she is being made as a judge. He further on went on to quote that people who have appeared for cross-section of diverse political views have turned out to be amazing judges. I am not sure we should be cold calling an individual for the views they may have said when they were lawyers. This is what he said. You see, I have a very simple question to ask. I am a layman, I am a citizen of this country, and I have a question. If I am a Christian and I know that this is what the honorable judge who is sitting and going to judge my life, going to judge my fate, thinks about my religion, thinks about my people, thinks about my community, when I stand in front of her, what expectation of justice will I have from that judge? I ask you, as lay people of this country and as citizen of this country, you decide. Do you think that that person standing in front of her, a Christian person standing in front of her, will he or she get justice from her? Will a person transform once they wear a robe and they sit in a chair? Do they transform from one human being to another? Does judges transform from being a religious person, a spiritual person, to an atheist when they sit in the judgmental chair, or when they sit in the judge's chair, or would they change from an atheist to a spiritual person? Does all of that happen? Does characters change? Does prejudice change? Does belief change? I believe red is a good color, I became a judge, tomorrow onwards blue is a good color. Does that happen? Does that human being change? I don't understand this, and I am asking it to you. I am putting this question up to you. Please decide. Write down in the comment box below, because I really need to know. I'm going to give you another example. In May 2023, the report of a 6-member expert committee, which was set up by the Supreme Court, gave clean chit to Adani Group on charges of stock price manipulation based on information provided by the market regulator SEBI. The panel also refused to conclude its report that there has been regulatory failure by SEBI. So, all in all, the 6-member panel gave a complete clean chit. In September, there was a petition filed by a lady called Anamika Jaiswal, claimed that the appointment of former State Bank of India chairperson O.P. Bhatt, who is part of the 6-member committee, is conflict, as who has headed renewable energy from Greenco, which had commercial dealings with Adani Group. O.P. Bhatt has commercial dealings with Adani Group, and he was part of the 6-member committee. Not only that, the petition also found that K.V. Kamath, who served as ICICI Bank chairman between 1996 to 2009, and Somashekara Sundaresan, a lawyer who has represented Adani in various forums, was included in the SEBI board. Now, again the same concept. There was this gentleman called O.P. Bhatt, who was a former chairperson of State Bank of India, who also had problems with CBI. CBI also questioned him for Vijay Mallya's granting of Vijay Mallya loan. So it is not that he has a spotless record, but he was appointed. He was dealing with a company that had financial dealings with Adani, and he was part of the committee that decided whether Adani is guilty or not. Further on, K.V. Kamath, who was the chairman of ICICI, who had commercial dealings with Adani, was part of that committee. Most importantly, Somashekara Sundaresan, who was an advocate for Adani. He has appeared for Adani. He was also part of the committee which will decide whether Adani is guilty or not. Now, the committee gave a clean chit to Adani Group for stock price manipulation based on information. In fact, it gave a clean chit to even the regulatory body or SEBI. They said there is no regulatory failure either. Everything clean, spotless clean according to this committee. I am not saying whether that is right and wrong. I have no authority nor knowledge to say whether it is right and wrong. But the fact remains that I am asking what the petitioner is asking. 3 people have got links with Adani, have got commercial links with Adani. Is that fair? Is that fair? My point number 2. My point number 3. Why am I saying all this? You cannot expect a statutory regulator to take as gospel truth something that has been reported in financial newspapers. We are not discrediting the report, but we cannot certainly say that there have been evidences for the SEBI. Chief Justice of India D.Y. Chandrachud addressed Advocate Prashant Bhushan appearing in the petitioner Anamika Jaiswal. D.Y. Chandrachud says that, listen, you can't take one report appearing in one financial newspaper as gospel truth. We can't take one report, appearing in a newspaper as gospel truth and take that as evidence and then, take action against it. That's not possible. This is what Chief Justice D.Y. Chandrachud told Prashant Bhushan, who was appearing for that petitioner. Now, very ironically and very surprisingly, when it came to NewsClick, both the managing director, the managing editor, managing director, Prabir Pushkayartha and his HR head, both are behind bars. Why? Based on what? A New York Times report. The New York Times report triggered all this, where they say that he is linked to China, he is not linked to China, all of that. It is a New York Times report. Again, I am not saying whether he is not. That is all not my job. But in one case, the Chief Justice of India says you can't base evidences or statements based on one financial newspaper reporting. In another case, a person is put behind, two people are put behind bars based on a report that came in New York Times. Ye kaisa nyay hai? What kind of justice is this? This is the point that I am trying to make. Are we going haywire when it comes to our justice? Or is show me the man and I will show you the law? Or justice for one is very different for justice for another. Again, I am coming back to my old thought process. Let us have two courts. Courts for the rich and the famous, where things are different, laws are different, and courts for the poor and the common, where laws are different, things are stricter. So that at least we know what to expect as a common man. At least I know, bhai, dekho, mere ko second class ka treatment milega, so I know I am getting into second class. And the rich people know that they will get AC treatment, they will get first class treatment, and they will get into a court of law which is first class. I will go into a court of law which is second class, and I will get the second class treatment. Let me be sure about it. At least tell me on my face, as a citizen of this country, that's all I am asking you. Tell me on my face, I am a second class citizen, I will get second class justice. That's what it is. Is that too much to ask? Because I am not asking any reforms, I am not asking any change, nothing is going to happen. I know that. Treat me like a second class citizen. And treat me, get my justice. Make a book for me which is my justice book, which is a common man's justice book. And let the rich be treated differently. At least that way, there will be some fairness. There will be some fairness. At least I will know that meri auqaat utni hai. That is what I am worth in this country. So that's the point I wanted to make. Till I see you next time. That's tomorrow at 10. Namaskar.